Hello, happy International Women's Week. My name is Bryony. I am a coach for teams and individuals, and I deliver mental health first aid training as well. And my aim through my work is for us to build emotional intelligence, relational intelligence, and societal intelligence. And with that comes resilience as well, for more human connection and more compassion and joy in life, so that we've got more capacity for each other and for the care of the planet. So in this event, we're talking about our health. We're talking about our health as a whole picture and what we can do to keep ourselves well and to build up for ourselves. So mental health and physical health and mental and physical resilience feed each other. The mind-body connection is deeply powerful, and we can't separate them out properly, but the focus of this talk is going to be around the mental and emotional. So like our physical health and resilience, our mental health is fluid, and it's a completely individual experience. So what is healthy for one person is going to be slightly different for someone else, and at different times of life. So in the context of the year that we've had, the impact of the stress, the threat of a virus, the threat of freedoms being taken away, our mental immune systems have had a really hard hit, but we can do something about them. And nurturing our mental health increases our resilience, both mentally and physically. It supports our full health long term, and we need to take care of it consistently and sustainably. So I'm going to introduce a way of talking through a few things that you can do for your mental health to take care of it. And it's called CLANG. Now there's other ones, there's Great Dream, the Action for Happiness Use, and there's the 5 Ways to Wellbeing, both of which I promote, but this is one I came across recently, and it's got a slight difference to it that I really like, specifically if we're just trying to focus on the mental health. So, please remember it's not a linear process, and they all link up. So again, we can't separate these out, but it's a way of looking at things. CLANG, it may not resonate as a term in terms of something that settles nicely, but hopefully it will help you to remember what the words are. So I'm going to go through each letter and what they stand for with my own take on it. This is something, as I say, I picked up recently from a trauma expert actually. And I'm going to look at each one from an inward point of view and for outward as well. So the first one is connection. Bringing this inward, we can connect to our core. This is something we need to do consciously and practice regularly. We can connect to what really matters to us in life. And when we go to that place, that's where our inner compass is. It's much easier to make decisions from there. It brings some alignment for us. And like physical alignment, if something's slightly off kilter, then it can cause more problems in different areas, and also it's more tiring. So it's the same with our emotional and mental alignment. If we bring things into alignment as much as we're able to and keep doing that, because it's a constant balance of muscles, then we can bring more alignment and more flow and more ease for ourselves. Our relationship with ourself is impacted by this connecting to ourselves. And we are, from birth to death, with the only person we can guarantee we will be in relationship with for the whole of our journey. So we need to nurture that relationship and bring compassionate, loving care and connection with it. Outwardly, we're pack animals. We know, and it's been really highlighted this year, that we need each other. We need connection with each other. It's crucial for our health, our mental health and our physical health. And healthy and right relationships are really important to check how healthy each relationship is. Because emotions are contagious, and we need to be careful of that. If we're with someone whose emotions are impacting us and it's not serving us, we need to be aware of that and perhaps hold our boundaries while we care for that other person, or hold space for them. And recognise where our boundaries are. And also feed off each other. The laughter, the love we get of being with other people. It boosts those hormones which are essential to our physical and mental health. And together we get to co-regulate as well. We can have proper open conversations of like, okay, I need to bring a different perspective, or I would like to do this. This is where I'm at. We can work with other people, whether it's a coach or one of our friends, someone in our family, and have an accountable conversation to figure out a way through to boost that mental health. So the L is learning. And bringing that inwardly, it's about learning about ourselves as we go. We are work in progress till the end of our days. And by looking to ourselves and learning, seeing what we can learn about ourselves, we get to choose what we take forward, and we get to choose how we grow and who we're becoming. And I got a wonderful question recently off a colleague, another coach, and I'm going to bring this question here to you. So if this last year, if you had set this as a training for yourself, what is it you were trying to show yourself? So if you had set this last year as a training exercise for yourself, what were you trying to show yourself? Because every part of life, there's some learning we get to take out of it and then choose how we take forward. In terms of learning outwardly, just learning something new. We're in a world full of things to learn, with so much mystery to it. So is something that will never run out, things to learn. Keeping your brain going and interest alive, connecting to meaning and purpose, whether paid or not, doesn't matter. It feeds us and it boosts us. And that can really, really nourish our mental health. And the A is for agency. Now, agency, when we talk about ourselves, means the capacity to act independently and to make your own free choice. Basically, it means there's a lot you have in your control and you get to choose. So in terms of inwardly, we get to choose our beliefs, we get to choose our reactions, and instead of reactions, if we're actually choosing, it becomes a response. We choose how to respond. And in terms of responsibility, that is literally the ability to respond. And we all have responsibility for this. We get to choose our perspective on things. The laundry is just the laundry, but we get to choose whether it's a pain to do and let it back up, or we get to choose whether we see it as something rhythmical that is grounding and we know the path of it. And that's just an example, a very mundane example, but we can choose our perspective on things in life. We get to choose our actions that are built on those beliefs and our perspectives. And we are the creators of our own emotions. Now, this is not a straightforward thing to work with, and it is something that we are all finding our path with, finding our way with until the end of our days. But we can get to work with our emotions and have the difference between them leading us and us having emotions and then figuring out what we want to do with those, managing them. You know, if things like fear, being able to do things anyway, and having grace for that part of that emotion we're feeling whilst we get on with something. In terms of outwardly, the agency we have is about how we engage with the world around us, how we show up in relationships, choosing what we get to bring to the world. And as I say, this goes hand in hand with responsibility. We all have an individual and collective responsibility for our individual and collective health in this world. So the N is notice. This has a huge power, simply noticing. Now inwardly, if we just notice what we're feeling, what our visceral reaction is to something, we then get to work through it. We get to make choices from that point. Do we want to see what we can shift in terms of our perspective? Do we need to just stop and be with some emotions are there? Because we need to, by noticing, we take out the judgment on any emotion or anything that we're feeling. And we just get to be with it. And there's a huge power in being with how we're doing. In terms of outwardly, noticing the world around us, it's an incredible place. And whether it's just noticing the daffodils as they open, or noticing the trees as we walk on. I used to be a carer, and I used to care for this wonderful woman who had had a stroke, so her speech was affected, and she had dementia, and she did have a lot of struggles. There was a lot that was really difficult for her around that, understandably. But when we went out for a walk, she would notice the smallest things, and it taught me a huge amount about joy from just noticing the world around us, which again, scientifically, it comes back to boosting those hormones that we need to feel better and to maintain our mental health. And the G is give. Inwardly giving to yourself. Give yourself good food, give yourself water, give yourself movement, give yourself a break, give yourself some rest, and give yourself some grace and love, because you're doing all right. And outwardly giving to other people, we know that this boosts us. It's part of that connection with other human beings. It's literally a good, nourishing thing for us to do. And on the flip side of that, if people are giving to us, when we give something in life, we need someone to receive it. That makes that connection complete. So there's a huge value in receiving. So our mental health, your mental health, is yours to nurture and to care for. Yours to help flourish as much as you're able. And it's, as I said at the beginning, it is fluid. It's going to be fluid like our physical health. But they can really feed each other. By caring for our mental health, we can really, really look after a whole immune system. And you have everything you need in you to be able to take care of yourself, including asking for help. Happy International Women's Week. Take care and go well. Thank you.